Well, hello everybody. I'm in the bonus quiz for 5.4, a section that's pretty much devoted to cracking trinomials, which becomes a prime skill for every chapter going forward. And that will be the second problem here. The first problem, though, introduces us to this idea of a special product. That is, when you have a binomial squared, there's a quick way to do that in your head, literally, without having to write out the two binomials separately like I've done here. 2y minus 3 squared, I go to longhand here and I write the two binomials, and then I use FOIL or double distribution to do 4 multiplications and then to work towards simplifying in the answer. Now, if you're going on in math, you definitely want to learn the shortcut technique. If 121 is your exit course, then this is going to be adequate. Go ahead and write out the two binomials times themselves, and then do the 4 multiplications, and you're going to get here 2y times 2y for 4y squared. Now keep in mind that's the first. And then in FOIL we have the outsides, and really that's just this right here, my second arrow. 2y times negative 3 is, and that was the outsides. And then we'll do the insides, which is this arrow right here, and we get another negative 6y. And you see we have a duplication of these two terms. That's what the shortcut realizes, and that's what it literally shortcuts. It knows that whenever you have a binomial times itself, you're going to end up with duplicates. So why not just use that fact and jump straight to the answer? And so we'll do that shortly. So that was our insides, and now we need to do our last, which is this arrow right here. And a negative 3 times a negative 3 is a plus 9. Now again, the duplication means that we have two of these. They're doubled. And so when you double, you multiply by 2, and we get negative 12y instead of 6y plus 9. And that's as simplified as it goes. So we're good there. For the shortcut, it's really simple. What you do is we're going to take the first term squared, and that's 4y squared. And then we utilize the fact that when you do the outsides or the insides, you're basically multiplying the first term by the second term. The first term by the second term. You're just multiplying these together, and then there's going to be two of them. There's going to be doubles. So go ahead and multiply what's ever here and what's ever here to get, in this case, negative 6y, and then duplicate it, multiply it by 2 to get negative 12y. And then, of course, it's the last term squared, and so we're done. Clearly, this technique right here eliminates a lot of chance for error. And if you're going on to calculus or 151, you want to learn the shortcut. And there's plenty of places to practice. Let me just give you one real quick here. X plus 3y, and it's a binomial squared. So I'm not going to write this out in longhand style. I'm simply going to jump straight to the answer. It's the first term squared. We multiply these two terms to get 3xy, and we double it, plus 6xy. And then we square the third term to get plus 9y squared. So literally you can just simply write down the special product. So that's what's behind this idea. In fact, what I'm going to do is close this up, and I'm going to do it again right here for the answer. So we have 2y squared, which is 4y squared. And then we're going to multiply negative 3 times 2y to get negative 6y, and double that to get negative 12y. And then we're going to have minus 3 squared, which is plus 9. I mean, that's it. We're done. And we can get on to the second problem. All right. This, like I said, is the core skill here. The trinomial is not in descending order. So my first move is to write it in descending order. And here's a way of doing that. You just grab the term you want first, including the sign in front of it, and you bring it to where you want it to go, like so. And then we want a descending order, so this is going to be next, and we bring that down here, and it's a plus 2t squared. And of course we are left with this one right here, and we grab it. There's no sign in front, so that means it's plus. And so we have plus 63t. Now, the game is, I've shown this gift in many times in many courses. You always want to take the biggest bite of the terms. And so what is the biggest bite you can take from these three terms? Well, they all have a factor of t in common. And so that's what I'm going to take. I notice my first term is leading with a negative 1 here. Trinomials are far easier to crack if the first term is positive. So I'm actually going to take out a negative t here. And of course I ask myself what got left behind. And we have a t squared. And let's just double check that. Does that multiply to negative t cubed? It does. And then when I take a t from this term, I have 2t, and I want it to end up being plus 2t when I do this multiplication. So if I have a minus here, then a negative t times a negative 2t gives me a positive 2t squared. And it's the same idea here. I take away the t and I'm left with a negative 63. Notice that gets me back 63t. So I've pulled out the biggest bite, and now we're looking at a trinomial here, and the game is to crack this. And you have to play a bit of a math detective here. We're looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 63, and I can only think of two. Negative 9 times 7 is equal to negative 63. 9 times negative 7 is equal to negative 63. Okay, so those are the only two numbers. Well, there is 63 and negative 1, and there's negative 63 and positive 1. The game is you're looking for the pair, the magic pair, that multiplies to negative 63 and simultaneously adds to negative 2. And that's going to be this pair right here. As soon as you find that magic pair of numbers, you're done. All you do is you create your two binomials here, and you take t, in this case, that's the variable, minus 9 as one binomial. And since this is a positive 7, you take t plus 7. And there you go. That is this problem completely factored. And that becomes a primary skill in Chapter 6. We're going to be cracking these trinomials when they're inside fractions. Well, I've already got the answer typed in to save some time. Let's do a submit and see how we did. And we got them both correct. Well, I hope this helped, and good luck with the bonus quiz.